So we've been wondering, why did Baroni go to Mexico? You remember I was saying he had problems in New York and that's why he went. Well, it turns out he went to Mexico with his girlfriend from New York.
I think that guy would burnt so many bridges up here that he didn't really have a lot of places left to go. Like, sister doesn't like him. I think his dad passed. Not sure about his mom. Even his upbringing. Coleman even said, yeah, his dad was all mobbed up doing hits for Gotti out in New York. Like, Coleman even got pulled in either by the feds or a journalist. Somebody even called up Coleman because Coleman talked to his dad and got caught on a wire. Like, that's how plugged his dad was. His dad was legit.
Here is the New York Badass introducing Phil Baroni.
I love the look. Main event.
Phil Baroni versus Chris Lieben. This was a bare-knuckle boxing match.
Look at him. What is he going for a takedown almost there?
And in this fight, he didn't like playing by the rules.
I'm saying, hey, are we boxing this today or what are we doing?
But as we all know now, after the murder of his girlfriend, about his upbringing and his history of beating women, the only rules he likes playing for is his own.
Lieben clipped him with the left and Baroni is dazed, but okay, it appears he's back out ready to go. Is Baroni trying to force the action and he's just shoved down by Lieben.
But what I know now about what he did to Paula's body after she was dead? Wait until you guys hear this one.
It's over. Lieben has knocked out Baroni in the first round.
Man, what happened here? This was the wildest thing I've ever seen.
I speak fluent Spanish. I lived in the country of Mexico for the better part of 3 years. And the exact area that Phil is having issues in is where I was for the majority of that time. My friend called me when Phil got there. I've still got very good friends there. And I said to him, bro, I want Sergio. I want you to stay away from him. He's not a good guy. He's all out of his mind. Whatever he's putting into his body and the damage that he's taking is kind of polluting him and his mind. Do me a huge favor, stay away from him. Less than a week later, he calls me again and he goes, hey, bro, does this guy like hit women? And I said, well, he's had a few girlfriends that needed plastic surgery. Yeah. I mean, he's kind of known for it. He's like, yeah, man, he's got a real bad reputation here. I know he's a tough guy. I know he's he's Mr. UFC. He knows how to handle himself. He's going to get into trouble here. And I said, I know.
You guys remember when I told you I was curious always, what's in people's mind that makes them do the things they do? And in this case, Phil Baroni going to Mexico, killing the poor girl Paula, leaving her kids without a mother. Like, what was in his mind to make him do something like this, right? Well, let me tell you, the information that I just found out, okay, is the most disturbing things I ever heard somebody do to another human being. And I don't even know in words how to describe the information that I just found out about. And there's a guy known as the MMA detective. His name is Mike Davis. And he knows a lot of people in this industry. And he actually knew Phil Baroni too. And he spent some time in Mexico. And they call him the detective because he finds out information like this. So we've been wondering, why did Baroni go to Mexico? You remember I was saying he had problems in New York and that's why he went. Well, it turns out he went to Mexico with his girlfriend from New York, beat her up. She went back, pressed charges on him. And now he's wanted in New York. But then he stayed there and he killed Paula.
When Phil moved to Mexico, he went with his girlfriend at the time, beat her up. She goes back to New York. And then a GoFundMe started because Phil said he got robbed and they took everything and he needed money. He just wanted to get back home. A GoFundMe was started. A few $1,000s were put into that. I did not donate. Were put into that. And he got the money and he said, yeah, I think I'm going to stay now. I think I like it down here, actually. It's kind of nice. Lives in Puerto Vallarta, works out at some of the MMA gyms there. Choco Banana, Tracy Willis owns it. Dear friend of mine. I haven't talked to her in years. He was hanging out like around her restaurant, causing issues and stuff like that.
And this one, I don't even know how to put in words what I'm going to say. But you guys remember Baroni. When the body was found of Paula in the bed, she was naked and had covers on her. Because Baroni had said that he put her in the shower, she hit her head. And then he put her in the bed and she was naked with the covers on her, right? According to the autopsy results, things were done to the private areas on her body after she was dead already.
An attorney from Puerto Vallarta, who I'm actually selling a piece of property there right now, she tells me, yeah, man, you got to read the autopsy report. There's damage to her body, including her private areas, that make them think something took place after she died. So, like, it's just some horrendous lowbrow shit that is, it's bad for everybody. It's bad for Phil, bad for the family, bad for Phil's family. This guy's needed help for a while, and he's exactly where it is that I'm shocked that he didn't get there earlier, truth be told.
It's go time. It's time to take it off. It's go time. I got to jump off. Baby, it's go time. When it's y'all bedtime, I'm ready for showtime. Bring it back. Yeah, it's go time. It's time to take it off. It's go time.
So you see, when I was telling you how sick this is, because my mind, I can't for the life of me understand why somebody would do this to somebody when they're dead. Because this is a real sickness and beyond, what I thought humans would do to another human being, no matter what drugs or alcohol you're on. To do that is something that there's no explanation for. And I'm not making an excuse for Baroni's actions, right? But I can't help but think of how bad his case of CTE must have been. And there's something very, very interesting here. I have a text message, and I'm going to show it on the screen. This is a friend of Baroni. And Baroni reached out to him asking him, this has happened in August. He asked him for money because he wanted to go to the hospital, a special hospital, to get his head examined. He knew he had an issue and he was reaching out to people for help. So he obviously knew he had CTE. And that brings me on to my next point. My next point is, all professional sports, fighting sports, NFL, Junior Seau, Steve McNair, Stefan Bonner in the UFC. Look what happened to him recently. You could clearly see these people's minds starting to degrade as they get older in life from all the repeated blows. And, the NFL has taken stands and they've taken precautions to try to prevent players from getting CTE. But I got to tell you, when Baroni left the UFC when he was 32 years old, Dana White saw the signs. And he said, you know what? You need to retire now. Baroni didn't like it, and that's when he went overseas and he fought 10, 12 years after Dana originally said for him to quit because he saw the signs in him. So you got to say, just like the NFL, fighting sports need to do something about CTE and some way to help fighters who are in need of money when they're done with the sport, who have issues like this. Because maybe something like this could have been prevented. Maybe Paula would still be alive today if maybe Phil could have got some help, as he clearly reached out to his friend.
A sweet